Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the Z-19E, a rank 6, currently 10.3 BR premium attack helicopter in the Chinese helicopter tech tree. I'll go over its stats, how it plays, its strengths and weaknesses, go over some scores in key areas, and then give my final recommendation and if I feel that this vehicle is worth purchasing or not. As always, please subscribe if you like more rad content, but either way, let's get into the video. And to start, I'll place its stats here on the side of the screen. And now, for how it plays. Well, due to the relatively limited style of gameplay that helicopters in War Thunder provide, acting more like killstreak rewards than individual vehicles with their own traits and statistics, there isn't too much different regarding the Z-19E compared to other helicopters. So with that in mind, I'll go over how it varies from other helicopters here and how it plays based on that. That said, the Z-19E is a bit unique in War Thunder in that it is very small and very light, and has armaments to match. It has engines that put out about half the power of the larger YAH-64 and KA-50, and it also has small ATGMs with a short range and a fairly light explosive yield. As such, you pretty much always need to spawn the field closest to the action, largely due to the range limitations on the ATGMs. Further, you should target more lightly armored vehicles if possible, as penetration is not the greatest on these, and the explosive yield on the Blue Arrow 9 is the lowest in-game for helicopter-mounted ATGMs, as far as what I could tell, at least among the premiums. You also don't have a primary armament, so you will typically need to stay at around 5 kilometers from the action, as your unguided weapons, as with most helicopters, are difficult to use consistently, and you will also have very little armor to stay airborne after taking a few hits, which is going to be required pretty much if you're using unguided rockets. Where this bird really shines is with its AA missiles, as they have 20 Gs of overload and a 6 kilometer all-aspect range, meaning that you can hit most enemy planes and helicopters that are remotely close to you with a fair amount of reliability. This is also a ton of fun to use in PvE battles for helicopters, as you will shoot down tons of enemy planes, which is a great time. That said, for strengths and weaknesses, I'll start off with the strengths. This is a small and light helicopter. While not the fastest premium helicopter, it's pretty close to it, as its top speed is around 300 kilometers per hour, and it's extremely maneuverable, at least considering that's a helicopter. Second, it has likely the best AA missiles in game, at least for helicopters. The TY-90 missiles are all aspect, even at their max range of 6 kilometers. They have 20 Gs of overload, and you can carry 8 of them. Third, it has an excellent overall payload of up to 8 AA missiles and 8 ATGMs at the same time. Fourth, the Z-19E has thermal optics. Fifth, it has a great variety of ordnance between great AA missiles, decent ATGMs, 2 different sizes of unguided rockets, and HMG pods. And finally, it has premium RP and SL bonuses. Now for its weaknesses, its Blue Arrow 9 ATGMs are fairly weak compared to other helicopter-mounted ATGMs, especially when looking at premium and squadron helicopters. They have a maximum of 800mm of armor pen, which, while sufficient, is among the lowest when considering premium helicopters, and also has the lowest explosive yield with each missile. In short, while it will almost always pen, the likelihood of a one-shot kill is lower with this than with other helicopters. Second, it's on the low end in terms of range for ATGMs, considering it only has around 6 kilometers. Third, it lacks a primary armament, so you will have no guns or cannons that you can use without having to separately equip them. And finally, it lacks armor outside of a small amount of armor on the pilot seats. Now for scores, for anti-ground, I give this a 4.5 out of 10. While it can kill, the Blue Arrow ATGMs don't lead in any major categories and have subpar armor penetration, mediocre speed, and a poor amount of explosive filler. Unguided rockets are lackluster as well, but of course you will still be able to get the job done with its weaponry. For its anti-aircraft capabilities, I give the Z-19E an 8.5 out of 10. While the TY-90 AA missiles are trickable with smart flare usage and good maneuvering, they can still destroy enemy aircraft extremely well. Though they have a mediocre amount of explosive filler, they can still have 20 Gs of overload, which makes a direct hit much more likely. Even if you do not hit, it can still cause severe damage if it goes off relatively closely to the enemy. For survivability, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. Between its maneuverability, speed, countermeasures, armor, and ability to take damage, the Z-19E feels good in terms of survivability, but not great, and that's really insofar as you stay kind of away from the action. Due to its small size and lack of armor, HMGs have a much greater impact on this helicopter than they would against an Mi-24, Ka-50, or Apache, or some other larger helicopters as well. Still, it has decent countermeasures that will go off automatically if they decide to work, and it has good maneuverability that should allow you to save yourself more often than with other helicopters. Overall, I give the Z-19E a 6 out of 10. Of course, the main role for helicopters is to take out ground units, and while you can perfectly do that with the Z-19E, its ATGMs are a bit lackluster in terms of damage, speed, range, and are simply decent in terms of armor pen. It can get the job done, but not better than the similarly priced KA-50 or even the squadron vehicle YAH-64. So, do I recommend this helicopter? Yes, but only if you need a good airborne option for ground battles for the Chinese ground tech tree. Ultimately, other helicopters, namely the KA-50 and YAH-64 as well as the P-10, are more capable than the Z-19E, and it shows. You really need to get close in for this vehicle to be effective, and even then, a hit on a tank is no guaranteed kill. The Z-19E is extremely fun and maneuverable, which makes it a load of fun to dodge missiles, but it doesn't quite have the teeth of other premiums, including even the G-Lynx and Mi-28, though you will still have at least a better range than with the Tiger HAP for ATGM usage. Either way, the Z-19E is a surprisingly capable anti-aircraft helicopter, and a decent though somewhat average anti-ground helicopter. So yes, if you need the support, especially if you don't want to grind through the air tech tree, this is a great vehicle to have. Otherwise, I would go with the KA-50, YAH-64, P-10, or even the G-Lynx before the Z-19E. That said, thank you so much for watching. Please, of course, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to know what your thoughts are on this helicopter and just the video in general. Either way, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.